What's going on, all you real beasts? Magic Pat here. Before we get into the tackle review, I just want to say thank you everybody for making this possible. We just reached 1,000 subscribers. It's been a long journey. It's been 3 years of working my butt off trying to get this stuff taken care of, to get the videos out, have them edited. I mean, it's been a huge process with me and the guys trying to get everything taken care of, getting timing and stuff worked out. It's been a process. I want to say thank you to Mike's Fishing Home and Pontoon Jody for also giving us the last little push we needed the other day on a live. They both saw that we were getting really close to 1,000. They wanted to go ahead and give us that extra little push that we needed. So I appreciate everything that they've done. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the tackle review. So today, we're actually talking about a rod company that I've been using for a little while now. I started swapping over my catfish gear, and it is actually the Mad Cat rods. Make sure you can see this in the screen really good. Believe it or not, this is the first one that I bought. This is their medium action. I'm not sure if it's showing up in the light too well, but it's a medium action. It's 1 to 10 ounces of lead that you can throw with this, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. And it's rated 10 to 50 pound test line. So as you can see, handle looks amazing. I actually picked this one because I seen a guy was using it online catching black drum, and I had to have a rod just like it, which is funny because this is actually one of their kind of discontinued colors. I don't think they actually make this color anymore. They just have a few laying around. I'm trying to get it worked over, y'all can see it actually has a fluorescent white tip. It shows up really well in black light or under a normal light in the dark. The rest of it doesn't really show up too well at night. The silver does a little bit. But here's the thing. So they're starting to gear their equipment more towards being visible at night when you're catfishing or whatever. So they've actually got the new version of this color coming out. This is the Venom, and they're coming out with the Venom 2.0. So this burgundy kind of red here is going to be closer to this kind of red. It's going to be a lot brighter red. It's going to show up. It's actually going to be black light compatible, so it'll show up under a black light. So that'll be good. So instead of just the tip of the rod, it's going to be the whole rod. Which, so this rod right here, like I said before, is a medium. And for a while, I caught a few smaller fish. I didn't really want to do a tackle review until I had actually put this thing under some serious test. Put it under some serious stress and some pain and all the other things that I'm good at doing to my fishing equipment. Everybody that knows me knows that my fishing equipment is really hounded. I use my equipment for things that it's not meant to. So like if I have a bass rod, I may try to go catch catfish with it. Or, you know, say I've got a brim pole and I see a carp swim by, I'm going to be trying to catch that 30-pound carp. It's kind of hard to outdo these rods. I mean, I'd have to take them into salt water, which I have done, and put them up against some of those fish. But here's the thing. So 2 weeks ago, I caught my personal best blue cat at night with my buddy Joe from Katz Fishing. Y'all have seen him on a bunch of my videos. You've seen me on some of his videos. And I'll put a little clip up here for you to see. That was probably the best test that I could put this pole under, especially being a medium action. So the river that night was absolutely just blowed out. It was like 85 to like 89,000 cubic units of water per second or whatever it's called. So it was super high, super fast. even a little fish felt like it weighed 100 pounds. It was insane. And then on top of that, I caught a 49-pound blue cat in that current. Had this rod completely doubled over. I mean, just there's not very many places that I could think of you could test a rod and stress it to get a good feel for it, like fishing the Tennessee River when it's blowed out from rainwater or whatever, and you hook a big fish. I mean, like, that's a whole nother level of just all kinds of stuff that you can put it through. It turned out great. I'll tell you one good thing about this rod. Comfortable. It was completely comfortable while I was fighting that fish. Even with that much stress, that high a current, that big of a fish, and, you know, the fish was pulling line. Lots and lots of it. If you watch the video, you heard me say it probably 100 times. He's taking line. Well, I mean, he really was. You know, you got a big fish smoking drag off your reel, but also the current was helping him. He could fight a lot less and still get, you know, the same output they normally do. It was insane, the fight that I had with that fish. Hardest fighting catfish I ever had up to that point. Now, everybody knows I broke it the next day with a bigger catfish, and that fought even harder, but that wasn't on my rod, sadly. I caught it on one of Joe's rods. So, handled it great. Was completely comfortable. So, one of the good things about it is the length of the handle, especially for me, is perfect. I could sit it around my waist and kind of fight the fish, and like the reel is just perfectly right in front of me, so I'm not like having to hunch over the reel or having to lean back. It just kind of sits there. It's how I like to fight a fish when I'm fishing from the beach, when I put my shark baits out. It's almost got that exact feel to it. Any of my shark fishermen out there, you know what I'm talking about. Like when you have it in the harness and it's at that perfect angle where everything feels smooth. That's how this is. So this rod is actually a little longer than what I normally was using for catfish. So this is a 7'6", which most catfish gear is about 7'6". So that's, you know, it's not really different. It's just different for me because it was a different kind of rod, different kind of company. But can throw a bait. So it said that it's rated for 1 to 10 ounces of lead. I'm going to tell you right now, I have thrown 16 ounces of lead with a leader, you know, full everything, hook, the swivels, all that good stuff, and a chunk of bait about this big. So you're talking about roughly, I would say it's like 1.5 pounds. No, it's about 2 pounds of bait and lead and leader and all that good stuff. Handled it like a charm. I mean, you would think that the rod was rated for that much weight. No problem. Was getting, you know, 50, 60-yard throws. I'm not really trying to like lob it. I'm just kind of letting the weight do its thing, but I'm getting good casts with it. Accurate casts. I'm not having to like, you know, throw and pray for it to go the right direction. Like, it handles the weight. I never once felt like the rod was going to break. I'll say that. Like, it felt good. As far as the line weight goes, most of my catfish gear, I use the 40-pound line, so that's kind of like closer to the top end. But I really have no problem using higher. As a matter of fact, on one of my longer ones that I have now, I use 50 on it. And at no point do I ever feel like the line is going to be stronger than the rod. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's got one of the aluminum reel seats, which are really, really nice. The only thing is I wish the nuts right here to tighten it were on the top side, but it's really not that big of a deal. When I tighten these down all the way, they usually don't move, so it's not a big issue. The only time I ever get any kind of movement out of it is when, like, I go on a long trip and it's banging around in the back of my truck. This bottom nut loosens usually a little bit. I just one crank and it's still good. I've never had a real slip on it or move or anything like that. It never gets in the way. I don't ever loosen it with my hand, you know, fighting a fish. So it's just kind of like a preference thing. You know, it's kind of like an extra insurance thing that I like on my poles. But I can definitely overlook that compared to everything else that these rods do. They're absolutely immaculate. They look good. They fish good. But we're going to do something a little bit different today. Instead of me sitting here telling you about it, I'm going to show you some stuff where I tested it out in the yard just a little while ago. And you can see for yourself how strong these rods are.
Okay. So how's this for a big pin reel? Got my giant 14-aught shark reel tied onto this medium action Mad Cat rod. So let's see what this bad boy can do. Just gonna hook this into the fence somewhere. Yeah, this reel is so big we couldn't even get it on the rod the correct way. We had to tie it on there. So all right, now let's see what this rod can do. Woo, heavy. Thing heavy. Yeah, let's crank it down even more. Used to, when I was fighting big sharks, we'd tap these down with a hammer to get them 100% tight. I'll have to check and see, but I mean, yeah, let's put a bend in the rod. Look at that. Look at that rod. You want to talk about strong? This is a medium action. This is a medium. Man, let's see if we can't crank this down anymore. I think that's about as far as I could go with it. Reel's wanting to twist because it's not on there correct. I mean, how much stronger do you need these rods to be? Look at that. Mad Cat medium. You see that? Medium. I can't tell you how much stronger you're going to get out of a rod if a medium can handle this. I mean, look at that. That's how big this reel is. That is serious power, guys. That's serious power. All right, hold on. I wanted y'all to get a side perspective of this. Medium action. 150-pound mono. Is there anything else you want me to say about this? That's why I use Mad Cat rods for cat fishing. And when they come out with their saltwater line, I'm going to be using it too. It's an $80 rod, you know, minus shipping. 14-aught pin reel. I mean, to get that kind of strength, I usually have to spend $300–400 in rods for saltwater gear.